Hello, LinkedIn, and welcome to another LinkedIn live session here from Tribal Impact. And I am absolutely delighted today to be joined by Mia Doskas from Henkel, Social Advocacy Manager. So hello, Mia. Say hello to everyone that's joining us today.
Hello, Sarah. Hello, LinkedIn community.
Oh, it's fantastic to have you on here. Now, Mia's feeling a bit tired, and I haven't done one of these for a while, so there might be a few mistakes as we go through today. So give us a shout out in the comments because these sessions are a really good time to talk to people, ask the questions you want to ask. This is a great. Now, obviously, if you're listening to this on the podcast after, you can't do that. You need to come to the live sessions if you want to do that. So Mia, do you want to just start by saying where you are and what your role involves? I think that's a good introduction so people get a feel for what you do at Henkel.
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, I'm so happy to be here on this LinkedIn Live. Thanks for having me. It's my first LinkedIn Live, and I'm really glad that I will talk about social advocacy today with the LinkedIn community and you, Sarah. So, yeah, what I'm actually doing at Henkel is managing the social advocacy program, which is called Henkel Hive. I'm doing this now for 1 year, but the Henkel Hive program exists for more than 6 years now. And I joined Henkel 9 years ago, and I joined corporate communications, and I'm still in corporate communications.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
And I've always loved, because we started working with Eileen on this program, and Eileen,
yeah,
I know, is still involved, but I always love the Henkel Hive, and I even love the pattern behind you because this is about a hive mentality, this is about culture, and you
yeah.
named that from the start, and that weaves all the way through the program. It's a fantastic concept. So anybody who's looking to brand their advocacy program in some way, it's a great one. So today we're talking about, with the key word today is authenticity.
Yeah.
And I think in an era of AI and where we're at, and it's easier than ever to create content, but it's harder than ever to create trust. Authenticity sits right at the heart of that. So I've got lots of questions for you, Mia, and if the community
Okay.
wants to ask them as we go, all good too. Um, so do you want to just start it? Actually, just say, what does advocacy look like at Henkel? Is it a tool? Is it a training program? Is it a
Yeah.
community? What does it look like?
I will just start with the basics. So we have three focus areas. First of all, we have the Henkel Hive platform, which is called
Mhm.
Henkel Hive Hub. Then we have, of course, the enablement, and we have the strategy. So strategy means we create tailored strategies for individuals, for employees that just want to create a professional strategy on LinkedIn, and we do this also for teams. Enablement means we are doing a lot of enablement. We are doing boot camps, many boot camps around the whole year, and we are doing master classes, just like yesterday with our nice colleague Anna from Travel around authenticity in times of AI on LinkedIn, for example. We do these master classes every quarter, and we also have like snackable content, snackable enablement. Yeah, and the Henkel Hive Hub is also a very important focus area of our advocacy program because it's just like a news platform. People can register for it at first and then they can reach out to it just like on a news platform. They go and scroll through pre-approved content to say and can share it right away on LinkedIn. They can subscribe to categories and see what they can connect to and directly share it on LinkedIn, of course, by adding their own voice to it, their own thoughts to it. And these are the three basic focus areas of our social advocacy program. And to sum it up, in general, employee advocacy at Henkel is really about turning our people into trusted voices in their professional networks, and it goes beyond sharing just corporate content. This is very important for us. It's about enabling employees to showcase their expertise, their insights. This is why we also talk about professional branding and not personal branding. This is also very important in our program. Yeah, and the goal is simple. So help employees feel confident and proud to represent both themselves and Henkel in a way that drives real business impact in the end. Yeah.
Right. Oh, I've got so many questions. not following the questions so much on here. So this is brilliant, Mia. Um, I just want to mention though, because I know one of the values and the cultural values of Henkel around purpose, integrity, which is about showcasing the expertise and not just pumping out content, but also compliance. And I want to just lean in on that because the tool provides a really nice safety net for those that are a little
Mhm.
bit worried, doesn't it? Do you find that? Do you see that? It's a good introduction to sharing without getting too held
Absolutely.
back.
Yeah, this year we did a lot of also live profile checks. We sneaked in into existing live events and had the opportunity to talk directly to people about social advocacy and their LinkedIn profiles and so on. And in that discussions, this came up sometimes that people are not pretty sure what to share. They are not sure about their approach. And as soon as we talked about the Henkel Hive Hub, that it's content they can subscribe to, they can connect to, and which is kind of pre-approved because it comes from our corporate communications team, for example, then it was a big difference for them and a big aha effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by that though? I love that. So you sneak into other people's meetings and sessions.
Um,
Is that
yeah, for
well,
example,
I mean, sneak, you've been invited, right, Mia? You don't just turn up, but it's a
yeah,
great
it
strategy.
was a pretty new approach we had this year for our social advocacy program. We tried to find events that already exist at Henkel, for example, International Women's Day, Diversity Day, Sustainability Day, and so on. And we created a little booth and merch products, of course, because we still need awareness around our program. We of course, it's a journey, even if it exists for 6 years now. We are still promoting it. And on the other hand, for those who know it, we had the opportunity to give them, like deep dives, profile checks, and to just have a discussion around social advocacy at Henkel. And it's really a great approach. And we want to do this next year too. Again, yeah.
I always remember a conversation I had with Keith Lewis, who's not so prolific now on LinkedIn. He used to work for Zurich Insurance, and he did exactly the same thing years ago, about six,
Yeah.
7 years ago. And he said, I plant myself in already existing events and meetings, and I grow the awareness that way. It's brilliant. It's like groundswell. It's a fantastic idea.
You
Um,
need to be in touch with the people. This is very important. You have,
yeah.
of course, a SharePoint page, an internal space where people can reach out to you, but you need to be also the face of the program and connect to the people. This made a big difference for us this year. Yeah.
Oh, that's a brilliant, right. That's another one. I'm going to come back to that one because I want to take you back to something else that you said. We
Mhm.
want to move people beyond sharing. We want people
Mhm.
to build a professional identity to showcase their expertise. Oh, Mia, I can't tell you this is super important, right? And I think advocacy has been traditionally a bit of a click share, and
Mhm.
historically it's come from there. So it's fantastic that you're embracing this. How do you know somebody is ready to go and create their own content and move off the I'm going to share from the hub?
That's a really good question. When is somebody ready? Um, yeah, practically, of course, we talk about the current situation on LinkedIn, like on the live experiences where I was in touch with the people. I asked them, how does your LinkedIn profile look like? And then I kind of had the opportunity to assess the maturity. But of course, we work also with your maturity metrics. Private
So you
maturity,
know,
yeah, where you
yeah.
have the opportunity to match what the maturity looks like, right? With how people are actually networking, and yeah, this is how we do it actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so for anyone who's not familiar with that, and also make sure you give us a little comment if you want to ask a question. But anyone who's not familiar, the maturity matrix is very much that. It's plotting where everyone is, and in the first column, you typically have people that are active that are on LinkedIn but doing nothing, and 90% of the people in your organization will sit in that column. The middle column is they're active but perhaps not getting the best engagement, or they're a bit sporadic, or they're a bit inconsistent about their posting for whatever reason. They're trying, but not getting as good a results as they could. And the final one is these are the people that get high engagement per share that are consistently sharing. So you map to matrix, so you identify where people are at, and then how do you align what they need, Mia? Do you know how do you align the enablement needs to where they are? Then how do you know this one needs a bit of help on the profile, but these ones need a bit of help around how to create content?
Mm. Yeah, it's a real coaching assessment we need to do. It's asking the right questions and listening, because otherwise it's like one size fits all approach, which doesn't work when it comes to social advocacy.
And actually, you're so right there. Different people are in different roles. They've got different goals, different expectations, different comfort levels, different stages of expertise on social. So when you layer all that complexity, it's quite tricky, isn't it? So
Absolutely, absolutely. This is not easy, but then if you, for example, did a few exec trainings like we are doing them, then you suddenly see that, okay, doesn't matter where this executive training actually takes place, in which region, in which country, they are pretty similar in their approaches, of course. So the regional differences doesn't matter so much in that case then.
tell me a little bit more about that, please, Mia, because I think this is really a lot of our customers are global customers. So they have cross
Mhm.
borders, different languages, different cultural nuances. But that's a really interesting comment that you've made there, which is, not even though it's not so different at this stage. So, what have you noticed then that makes you think? Culturally, it doesn't make so much of a difference. What makes a difference then?
It's also good. So we also have a lot of experiences from other projects within corporate communications where we work globally, of course, as a headquarter. And just to give you an example, in almost every country, our sales teams or our corporate communications teams have um, the same approaches, I would say. Sales tends to be more transactional and focused on networking, while communications leans into storytelling and brand positioning, for example. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's about, and I would imagine, I mean, I'm just thinking actually, sales are more into networking. They have a more, transactional, don't have much time, need to get this done, make it relevant for my role. What you said you're doing, I'm interested in the role of leaders, and you've mentioned that you're doing some work with executives already. What do you think the role they play in encouraging employees to be more
Mm,
authentic on
mm,
LinkedIn?
mm. Yeah, it's one of the most important things because you need the role models, of course, in order to make this, the whole social advocacy program a success in the end. So leadership sets the tone for our employees. They see what leaders are actually posting. And and when leaders show up authentically, again, we have the topic of authenticity here showing up. So, sharing, for example, their own experiences, a selfie, stuff like that, not just corporate updates sounding like corporate messages. It gives like a kind of permission to everybody to do the same, actually, I would say. Yeah,
Mm.
and we actively coach leaders because their example is so powerful. We need them to make our program a success, of course. Yeah.
We have seen data, actually, some of our data shows that, when leaders are active in the right way, it inspires employees to follow suit. You see it at some of the biggest brands in the world. When their leaders are active and on the platform, especially on LinkedIn, you can see employees follow suit. And you can see the opposite. So where the board are not active, you can see that employees are less engaged as well. So the data shows it. Um, I want to dig into that a little bit actually, because we keep coming back to this authenticity, and I think you've talked there about leaders showing up authentically, so not being an extension. And I'm bringing this up, Mia, because I've heard this 3 times in the last week,
Yeah.
where there is a strong steer for communications to push execs to be more like a brand voice.
Mm.
Tell me a little bit about how you coach leaders to be authentic and getting over that confidence hump of, but that means being vulnerable. How do
Mm.
you, have you come up across that? Have you come against that? Or are they
Uh,
more accepting?
yeah, sure. It's our training is focused a lot around thought leadership, of course, when it comes to executive training and leader training. But of course, we always have those conversations too. That yeah, they need to be present online. Some don't like to post like this kind of personal stuff, which of course shows up more authentic than corporate stories. But yeah, we actively also show examples. Showing examples helps a lot. Yeah, comparing because they just, yeah, in the end, leaders, they compare themselves a lot, and this helps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
So
quite competitive.
yeah,
Similar to salespeople, actually. Similar
yeah,
to salespeople, they have a similar sort of behaviour. Very competitive. It's like, if they're doing that, why am I not doing that?
yeah.
Um, no, I love that, and I think we must never underestimate the power of active leadership. Actually, because you can have a great, successful advocacy program, but it'll only get so far unless you've activated leaders to be part of that as well. So yeah, I'm going to ask you because I know you did a session yesterday around AI. So AI is, well, as I've said, it's making it easier to create content, but less easy to create trust. So
Mm.
where's your thinking on this, Mia? What are you noticing and how it's impacting your organization?
Me personally, as a social advocacy manager, when I saw all that AI posts coming up in my personal feed, I I lost my fun scrolling through the content. Actually, I didn't like it a lot because the content I saw was just too much emojis. You saw directly which was written with ChatGPT and which post was really personal and not written with ChatGPT and so on. So I actually got really upset because it's my working space, LinkedIn. I'm there every day, and I really love reading that content, and it changed for me. So the same happened actually for employees. I heard it a lot when employees talk to me about it. So this is the one thing. The other thing we hear, of course, a lot is that people don't have time to write something. So of course they wanted to use ChatGPT in order to save time, in order to brainstorm. And this is what we showed them yesterday for the second time because we had a first session in October in a learning festival that took place at Henkel. It was a global learning festival, 2 days, learning sessions all day. And we had also a masterclass around LinkedIn meets AI there. And yesterday we had a bit more deep dive around that topic for the Hive community, and people loved it. It was one of the most successful masterclasses this year. Great feedback. It was very hands-on. It was with activities from the beginning. So Anna asked them to yeah, create their tone of voice or a description of their tone of voice to use when they brainstorm with Copilot, because we use Copilot at Henkel, when they brainstorm
Okay.
for ideas or when they actually ask the AI to copyright something for them. And people, it was new for them, and they loved it. They will. I'm pretty sure they will use it now, and I'm also pretty sure that we had many participants that directly posted something because
Oh, wow.
big, it's such a big effect, especially for people who, in the end, don't post because it's so time consuming. I hear this
Mm-hmm.
I hear this a lot, and it's a game changer that they now can use Copilot internally to brainstorm ideas and to create content that still sounds or still is authentic because they adapt their tone of voice, and of course they create something that represents their own thoughts. And Yeah, it was a really good
Yeah.
session.
Oh, shout out to Anna
Yeah.
for that then. So well done, Anna. Um, I also I also think AI makes it accessible. Actually, I think I've got a dyslexic daughter who really struggles to get things out of here onto
Mhm.
a keyboard or to write. So it makes it accessible for neurodiverse audiences, but also I think for people where English may not be their first language,
True,
it
yeah.
helps to support that.
Yeah.
So there is absolutely a place for AI, but in a way that it captures your expertise in your tone of voice and supports your content strategy going forward. So I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. I think. Oh yeah, go on, Mia.
And you need to learn to brainstorm with it. It's not just asking, it's asking over and over again. This is what Anna showed us yesterday. She created some prompts and people just could copy paste them to use them for their brainstorming. And it was a big difference. I did the activities on my own in parallel during the month. And it was also a big difference for me, really. It's you need to learn to brainstorm with a tool like that, with an AI. And yeah, my hope is that people will use it the right way soon, because you still see some content that's not relevant. And if something
Mm,
not relevant, people don't make use of a platform in the right way in the end. And this would be really
yeah,
pity regarding LinkedIn.
yeah.
If it happens.
This is the key, I think, for um, unlocking the expertise behind the logo. I think this is where it'll make it easier and time efficient to be able to do that, which is fantastic. Um, so this is cool. So I've got a couple of extra questions. So I don't think we've got any in the chat. So I'm taking care of that. I'm interested in the metrics and things. What do you measure, Mia, to see whether customized enablement for certain roles? Because you said you don't customize it by region, you customize it by roles, whether they're execs or what do you look for? How do you know it's working or not?
Mhm. The user journey after the enablement is the
Okay.
success metric to say, because if you do a coaching, doesn't matter with if you do it with an exec or with a team or whosoever, it's in the end the touch points afterwards who will or which will give you the opportunity to measure in the end. So we had, for example, success calls where with our country colleagues from corporate communications, in order to see how they adapt the learnings from our program. Or we measure, for example, learning hours. This is also a really good metric, because we have so many participants in some of the master classes or in the boot camps. How can you measure their success here? So we count the learning hours of all those people, and it's really a nice metric we have then by end of the year. And regarding the Henkel Hive Hub, of course, the platform, we measure the reach, the impressions, the engagement rates, and so on from the posts themselves, and see which content type or topic performs best each month. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you can tweak the program. That's interesting. You've touched on there's something there I want to go back to. Just curious, how big is your Henkel Hive community? How many advocates do you have roughly?
We have 3,000 members and around 1,000 actives, 1,000 active users at the moment, I guess. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, that's good for people who are just trying to get an idea for the size of the community. And this
Mhm.
is global, right, Mia? So
Mhm.
this is around the world. So can I ask you, because you touched on it there about scaling and you talk to your corp comms colleagues and you just, you check in with them and how do you scale this program? Is it just you and everything comes through you? How does that relationship work with the countries? Because a lot of customers and companies listening will want to go, yeah, but how do I make that work globally? What does a regional comms person do, and how do they
Mhm.
work with the corporate
Mhm.
comms
Mhm.
team?
First of all, colleagues in other countries and regions from corporate communications need to understand that this is not an on-top channel. This is a channel makes a strategic way to amplify your strategic messages. This is very important that people understand this. And as soon as they got it, they will amplify the number. They will skyrocket because as I said, it's not only a tool. It's not only a tool because if you have a tool, of course, we are working all together. People want to see relevant content here, and relevant means also something from their countries or from their regions. So if it's in there, it gets more relevant and people share it. So there's the collaboration here with colleagues around the globe is very important for the Hive program.
Yeah.
And when it comes to other units or functions within Henkel, here, of course, it is also important. But we are not working with everybody yet. We are started to work with HR. They have their own initiatives, of course, their own ambassador initiatives, and we will make use of them and invite them to join our community and to join forces together with the Hive program. So, yeah, you know, the Guru program, of course.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
absolutely.
this
Yeah.
is something that we are also doing, but it's really a journey. As I said, we are doing this now for many years, and we are still or still have some steps to go or miles, maybe.
But I think that that's very natural for
Of
advocacy
course,
programs.
yeah,
People join, people leave, people evolve, people get promoted into new roles.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
it's very, and I think actually what you've just described there, it is part of the culture. I love that statement. Even Justina picked it out here. This is not an on-top channel.
yeah,
This is a strategic channel. This is a strategic way to amplify your strategic message. Do not think of this as an add-on to a campaign. This is core to who we are as a business and how we grow as a team. I think
absolutely.
it's fantastic.
And I think everybody has heard now the statement that people trust people over brands. Everybody knows this,
Yeah.
and this is how you do it.
Yeah. Now, on that, Mia, you see, I think this is not a quick thing. You said, oh, we've been doing this for years. You have been embedding this discipline. This can't be created within a couple of months or with after a LinkedIn training workshop, right? You have to constantly drip this through the every fabric of your organization. So I think the fact you've been doing this for years is an amazing thing. It shows that foresight that you had years ago, that this is a cultural transformation, not a campaign. And I think that's
Absolutely.
amazing.
And you're with us
Yeah.
now for so many years, right?
We have, yeah, we've been with you on that journey, and it feels amazing because I think when we first started working with you, the ambition, but this is a solid foundation. This is not a veneer that just gets people spreading nice
Mm.
stuff. This is core to the belief system of Henkel, and I love that. And I come back to the values around purpose, integrity. This is absolutely core to who you are as a brand. Just through the voice of your people. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so I've got a couple more questions for you, Mia. So, for
So
anybody that's still structuring their advocacy program around regions, right? So maybe they've got a lot of separated programs that and I have seen this, multiple tools within the organization as well. Where would you recommend they start by shifting more towards this role culture approach versus by region? What do you think?
role culture approach, could you describe this?
Yeah, well, if they want to pivot more to, right, this is what we're going to do with execs, this is what we're going to do with sales teams. We're not going to do it by country anymore. We're going to do it by role and by aligning to our
Okay,
culture.
yeah. So you need to start by mapping your key functions and understand their goals. This is, I think, one of the first steps you should take. So ask yourself, what does advocacy look like, for example, for R&D versus sales versus marketing? What's their goal? And then design enablement around those needs as a second step. So this is one of the first
Yeah.
approaches. And then after many years, it gets maybe, yeah, or maybe a step back again as a first step, you need awareness too. So in parallel to those questions and to this approach, you should raise the awareness around what we just have said. So why advocacy matters and why it
Mm,
matters for your company and what it means for your company to have all those people, yeah, talking with their voice, with their professional branding on LinkedIn, because you need a storytelling around it, to my opinion.
mm.
And
Yeah.
combine the story then with your enablement and with the specific approaches for all those roles in the regions.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that the why is key because not everybody is ready at the same time. Your whole organization are not going to go, oh, yeah, I'll do this. They'll come in waves, which is why you can't do this in a couple of months. This is why you need to embed it. It takes time. Different people come to it when they're ready and they've seen others and they feel encouraged by that. Um, I think that's absolutely critical. I loved how you picked out R&D there as one of the audiences. I'm a little bit
Uh,
curious.
we don't have a lot of stakeholders yet.
I
We don't work.
do love that though. Yeah. But it's an interesting audience, right? The
Yeah,
technical, typically introvert, if I'm on it, the engineers, the
yeah.
R&Ds, technical experts in the IT world, solution architects. They're not out there on LinkedIn. They're not,
I had one
yeah.
actually on LinkedIn in my last boot camp, in the Henkel Life boot camp. So the boot camp is the enablement format we have in the Henkel Life program for the people who want to take their LinkedIn game to the next level.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the creme de la creme. And um, there was a colleague who was working for all those hair dyeing chemicals, and she's posting a lot about her job and what she's actually doing. And I love how she connects it to herself and also with storytelling. So there are people who naturally are doing this the right way. I guess she's a talent, to my opinion.
Oh,
Yeah, she's doing it really great. But yeah, there's always a way to yeah, to enable those people too, who you might think are not the people who are like posting a lot on LinkedIn. But I think there are ways to make them, yeah, I'm being more interested around what's actually happening on LinkedIn and how they can make use of
you
it.
Oh, Mia, you should, when after this is over, you should just drop her LinkedIn profile in the comments so we
Yeah.
can all give her a bit of LinkedIn love and boost her profile views and have a look at what good looks like. Because actually, what you're tapping into there is peer recognition, which is massively important when you're trying to bring the rest of the community
Mhm.
with you,
Mhm.
to showcase what does good look like. I can tell you the theory, but have a look over here because this person's doing a smashing job. And this is what good looks
Yeah,
like. So
this is so
I think that's
important. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. I'm sitting here curious as to who that is. I've got to see Maria. So thank you, Maria. Employee advocacy isn't just another tool; it's a powerful way to amplify the impact of existing efforts. Companies that truly understand this prioritize and emphasize their advocacy programs, empowering employees to extend reach, credibility, and engagement. Fantastic. Thank you, Maria. Thank you. So I
Brilliant.
want to ask you one thing, Mia, that surprised you the most, what you've learned through this process. What what would you say?
How much confidence and authenticity matters, because all those
Mm,
in-person live discussions I had this year, these were a really surprising lesson for me, that so many people still struggle with authenticity and confidence. This matters so much, and you need to coach people to be more confident, to really post something slightly personal, maybe that connects to their professional values, their professional story. And yeah, not a big surprise, but it was still a surprising lesson because I had so many conversations around this year. So you need to
yeah,
remove that fear through coaching and community and engagement.
yeah, I love that. It's interesting. I'm working on a model at the moment, which looks, I think what you're touching on there is self-trust and confidence, and how that ties to what I would call organizational trust, which is culture,
Mm.
which then ties to public trust, which is your brand, a trust-led brand. And there's something there that connection is there. And I've been scribbling some sketches. I'm back sketching, but there's that. I think that's what you're talking about here. You've got to get that right for them to feel confident within their community, to feel confident to talk outside of their community.
This is
Yeah.
what I meant, yeah. And maybe this is a regional difference because I talk a lot about with German colleagues about it. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I feel sometimes maybe people from Latin America are doing this more easily than we are doing this. So maybe
Oh,
this is
that's interesting.
there are cultural
Do you,
differences too, I guess.
yeah. Do you notice that anywhere else then? Do you notice other regions that are a little bit more? So that's quite interesting how you've noticed that, a little bit more reserved in some parts of Europe. Latin America tend to be a bit more open.
Yeah, maybe Nordics too, because they also maybe
Oh,
tend to be a bit more hesitant. But
yes.
yeah, I don't want to put them now into
No, I
buckets
know.
first. This was just a thought I had.
Yeah, it's really true. So, anybody who's listening to this, Erin Myers wrote a book and she's got a website called The Culture Map. I think you
Mhm.
should definitely look at that because different people behave in different ways. And she's done years and years of research and data that talks a little bit about this and how people are slightly different. And I think there is a correlation. Oh, might have a look at that. There's a correlation to how you behave on social media. So, that's a good
Oh,
idea. Right. I've got one more question to ask you, Mia, and then we'll give it a close. I can't believe we've already spent 40 minutes. So thank you, everyone, for listening and for participating. Um, what's next for Henkel around this?
around social, so my ideal world around social advocacy and the Henkel Life program at Henkel is that people open the browser in the morning and reach out to the Henkel Life app and just try to, yeah, sneak into the content and find something they can relate to. This is my ideal world, that they really know the program, know what it's about, know why it's important, and yeah, can do something that's important for themselves and for their business impact. And more like near term in the in next year, what is coming up next year regarding social advocacy at Henkel, we will celebrate 150 years of Henkel next year, September. And this
Wow.
will be a big event. And of course, we will leverage this for our program. And we will have lots of great content we can share with the Henkel Hive Hub and also make use of advocates more, maybe a closer community of advocates that celebrate together with us as representatives of the whole 150-year celebration for Henkel, the whole thing. Yeah, and of course we will leverage AI tools more. I think
Yeah.
we will. We will have a closer look at yesterday's masterclass where we had so many discussions and feedback around how we can make use of AI for LinkedIn, and we will keep this story running next year and we'll make use of more enablement. Yeah, so leveraging
Fantastic.
AI tools, content inspiration, and more LinkedIn coaching. So
Yeah.
this is how we want to expand and evolve our whole advocacy program in the next year.
Fantastic. Mia, thank you so much, honestly, for sharing that, sharing your experiences. I know we sort of went off a little bit there, but it's really interesting to see. We've thoroughly enjoyed being on this journey with Henkel. I'm not going to lie. We've absolutely
Yeah.
loved seeing the program thrive. And I think the added advantage of embedding it into the culture over time has just been
Mhm.
fantastic, and I think it's really coming to its own now, and it's great to see it flourish even more. So
Thank you so much,
thank you.
Sarah, for being at our side for so many years now.
Oh, you're welcome.
And thanks for having me in this LinkedIn Live. It was really a nice.
Oh, super.
Thanks a
And
lot.
if anybody wants to connect to Mia, look, search up Maria Doskas. Maybe we can pop your LinkedIn URL in there, because you may find Mia or you may not, but it's or you search up Maria, you can find Maria on LinkedIn. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for listening on the podcast. Reach out with any other questions that you didn't think of now but want to ask. That's absolutely fine. And thank you once again, Mia. Great to chat with you.
Thank you too. Bye.
Take care now. Bye bye.